What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Thunder Sports Pod with JT and
The Stache, baby, we bring it to you again.
yes, sir. So right off rip, we're going ahead and talk about NBA awards recap. So the best award, the MVP, Jokic gets it again. What's your thoughts on that?
I think I called that. I was like, yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think he wins it again. He had 26.4 points this season. That's what he averaged. And he had 12.4 rebounds. So I mean, he's got a double double, and he averaged 9 assists. So I mean, man was almost a walking triple double all season. There's a reason why he won MVP. He's, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA right now. Some people may not like that, sure, but he is. He can do it everything that you need him to. He's one of the most versatile big men to ever step on the court. And now he accumulates his third MVP. And I just want to say, like, who he becomes on par with when I say that. Now he is tied with Larry Legend, Magic Johnson, Moses Malone. He's They all have three MVPs. He is now with them in contention. If he wins another, then he's ahead of them, and he has the possibility of winning another one in his career.
Mm. Yeah. Jokic is an elite company all time, and we got to give him credit where credit is due. No one, when he was drafted in the second round, thought he would be the type of player where he is now. And like you mentioned, his IQ, his passing ability is amazing for a big man. And honestly, some people were saying that SGA may have deserved it over Jokic. I know Shaquille O'Neal is definitely critical of Jokic, and I do believe it's a little bit because he's jealous of the big men that are successful because he wants to be known as the most dominant big man of all time in history. And whenever someone starts to do well, I feel like he's a little bit envious. I mean, you look at Dwight Howard with Orlando. He was bashing on him back in the day pretty hard. So I feel like Jokic was deserving of the MVP. You could argue for SGA, but ultimately I think Jokic definitely deserved it. And honestly, if Embiid was healthy this year, I think he would have won it though.
I agree. I think Embiid would have probably won the award had he not been hurt, and I agree with that statement. But he was. We got to take that into consideration. He has been
Yeah,
hurt, so Jokic capitalized on it. You can't blame the
good.
guy for doing what he has to.
Oh yeah.
But with the Shaq comment, I would like to state so it's more of there's more of a rivalry between Shaq and Dwight on the sheer fact that he was number one pick. Dwight was to Orlando. He was dominant in the paint for many years. If I remember, if off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, Dwight Howard,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
he had Superman as his nickname, which Shaq had first. So there's a more rivalry right there. I think in dominance, I still think Shaq is probably one of the most dominant ever over Jokic, but I think
Yeah.
Jokic is so much more versatile in the way he plays comparatively to Shaq.
Mhm. I
Um,
agree.
but I will say, I don't think the big men are the same competition either. So like, I don't know if you like if you're spreading the floor, I think Jokic could definitely get some threes on Shaq. But in the paint itself, I don't see it.
Hmm.
Even I'm a huge Jokic fan, so
Yeah.
but no, I like seeing him win this because I think he definitely deserved it. He is such a, I mean, he's the best player in the NBA in my opinion. So like, yeah, he's gonna win MVP.
Mhm.
I don't think voter fatigue should even play an issue or like a contempt in him not getting it because the
100%. I think the voter fatigue is such. I hate it. I mean, it's really overused for the term. And honestly, if you're the best player on the court for that season, you got to give them the award. And I feel like Jokic and the Nuggets, they were one of the better teams in the West, and ultimately they gave him the award. I'm fine with it. And some people argued for Luka as well. Yeah, I believe he led the league in points per game. But the Mavs were not one of the better teams this season. They were kind of up and down with the record. Now they're doing good in the playoffs, but a regular season award. It's not a postseason award. So you got to take that into aspect of for voters. But Jokic winning his third MVP, we definitely got to have some legacy talks in the near future where he'll rank all time.
oh yeah, I'm top 12 I think off the top of my head right
Mhm.
now. If he continues at where he's at now, top 12 for
Mhm.
sure.
So, what do you think about Defensive Player of the Year? Rudy Gobert, fourth time winning it.
I think the Timberwolves have a really good defense all around.
Mhm.
So I think that played a big factor. I do think they were like the number one defense this year. Was it solely on Rudy Gobert? I don't think so. But I, me personally, if I'm just looking at a defensive standpoint from a player base, not as a team whole, then I think Wimby should have gotten it. I know he's a
Mhm.
rookie. I know there's some like speculation on like giving a rookie that kind of award. I get it. I understand like the thought process that goes into it on that. But Wimby, as a rookie, averaged 21 points a game. He had 3.9 assists, 10 rebounds, so he's averaging a double double for you. He's giving you 20 and 10 like Tim Duncan did for so many seasons.
Mhm.
But his blocks, dude, averaged
Yeah,
3.6 blocks a game this season. That's
yeah,
crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, his height definitely plays a huge factor
yeah.
in that, sure. But I was really impressed with that. He averaged about almost 4 steals or 4 assists a game too. So he's delivering the ball a little bit, but his turnovers kind of high. He almost had
Mhm.
4 turnovers a game. Like he's up there with Luca when it came to turnovers, and he
Yeah.
did average 1.2 steals a game for a big man. I think that's great. So
Mhm.
I still think Rudy should have got it. I mean, Wimby should have got it, but and then I think Rudy Gobert is a very good defender. I'm not trying to discredit him in the slightest.
Mhm.
But now that's number 4 for him, and that puts him in the talks of Mutombo and Ben Wallace, two of the greatest defenders to ever do it. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see Rudy Gobert as one of the greatest defenders of all time kind of aspect. I don't think he's better than Prime Dwight by any means.
I would agree with you on that. I feel Rudy Gobert is definitely a great defender. Um, like you mentioned, some people are probably weary of giving Wembanyama the Defensive Player of the Year just because he's a rookie, and I don't like that at all. I mean, if you look at it, his presence was felt on the defensive side of the end. I mean, whenever people would drive, they would constantly kick it out because they know going straight up with Wemby's not going to end well for them. So I feel like his presence is more impactful, and you're fearing Wembanyama more than you are Gobert. I feel like Wembanyama is a more polished defender than Gobert. I mean, Gobert is a great rim protector, but ultimately, I think that Wembanyama had a better season overall for Defensive Player of the Year uh, vote. I mean, I would vote for him if I had a vote, but I think either way it'd be pretty close. But uh, I'm not extremely disappointed with the selection of Gobert. Like you mentioned, he did have a solid year. But me personally, I would go with Wembanyama here.
Yeah, we're in agreement on that. I just feel like
Yeah,
Wimby deserved it more.
yeah,
The presence thing was huge. Yeah, like if you watched any film from all season, you watch people like drive the hole and they pass it out when they saw Wimby. So I get it. Like I mean, just the presence of his defense alone it was insane. I know that the Spurs were not a good team, and
mhm,
yeah, it happens. But
yeah.
he needs help there. He can't do it by
Mhm.
himself. So I wouldn't be
And-
surprised if we see them draft my personal opinion like probably a shooting guard and a point guard, or trade for a point guard to help him out. Kind of have like a Timmy D role all over again with
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker.
hmm I mean, like you mentioned, a huge aspect of this is the Spurs were one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA this past season, and Wembanyama was a diamond in the rough, if you will. So, and the Minnesota Timberwolves had the best defensive team efficiency-wise in the whole league. So you got one of the better defenders on the best defensive team versus a great defender on one of the worst defensive teams. I wonder if that played into aspect of voting. So I don't think it should, but it might have.
I agree.
Yep. All right. Moving on to six man of the year, Nas Reed. What's
Nas
your thoughts on that?
Nas Reed has been excellent for the Wolves. I don't think he's looked super great in this second series, to be personally
Yeah.
honest. But during the regular season, which is what this award is based off of, he averaged 13.5 points, almost 14 points off the bench.
Yeah.
That's great. He shot 47% field goal percentage. He got 5.2 rebounds and 1.3 assists. So he is playing a little bit of everything, helping the Timberwolves definitely throughout the season on this. They definitely
Mhm.
got. I think he was a great choice for this too, because I think he definitely put in a lot of work in helping that Wolves team. Their Ant's real young, and I know the other guys are a little older, but
Yeah.
me personally, I think he played a huge factor for them this season.
I agree with you. I think Nas Reed um, definitely deserving of the award, but my personal selection, I feel like Malik Monk deserved the award out of the Sacramento Kings. Had a great season, averaged 15.4 points per game off the bench, And he was just an electrifying player for that Kings unit. And every time they needed a three, seems like Monk was giving them a, every sort of bucket each way down the court. De'Aaron Fox was looking his way a lot this season. So Nas Reed, Malik Monk, kind of 1A, 1B. You can flip a coin, honestly, but I liked Malik Monk's season a little bit better than Nas Reed's.
I think Monk would have probably won it if they had made the playoffs. I
Yeah,
think
probably.
I think them missing the playoffs put like a stain on them because they should have made. In my opinion, they should have made the playoffs. There's no reason for the Pelicans should have made it. I think the
Yeah.
Kings were by far the better team, but oh well, it happens. They lost in the play-in. It's bound to happen.
Exactly. I agree. Go ahead and move on to Rookie of the Year, Victor Wembanyama. I think this was clear cut, dry as day. Um, I think this was the first consensus where everyone voted him in as the Rookie of the Year. No one else voted for a first place vote for any other player.
I mean, we had a little bit of a competition to start the season on this with Chet. Um, I'm
Yeah,
surprised no one voted for Ben Simmons. I'll just throw it out there, but I no,
yeah,
this is like very clear cut and dry. Like you said, we all expected it like halfway through the season. All right, like okay, yeah. Now Chet didn't make the playoffs. I mean,
yeah.
he did also have like an MVP caliber player on his team that helped push them there, and Giddy. I'm not going to discredit
Hmm.
either one of those. So I mean, he had more help than Wimby did, but Wimby just stat wise looked absolutely incredible. So at the start, I could see like the little bit of a battle between who's going to win Rookie of the Year. But when it came down to it, like halfway through the season, we all knew it was a wrap. It was Wimby, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I won't touch much on it. I mean, you pretty much nailed it on the head with that. I mean, Wembanyama throughout the season, like you mentioned, Chet, he definitely had a great second season, but he's still considered rookie season because he missed all of last year. But Wemby was an absolute freak of an athlete this season. A lot of expectations, and he delivered in year one. I'm expecting him to have a great, leap next season if they can get some key pieces in the draft and in the offseason to help him out. But we'll have to wait and see. But next award, we had Coach of the Year, Oklahoma City Thunder, Mark Daignault.
I think this is, in my personal opinion, I think this was 100% correct.
Yeah,
My coach got a like second or third on voting or something, but
yeah.
I think we did great, but like nothing compared to OKC. OKC shocked everybody this season.
Oh, yeah.
And I did some research on it on Mark here, and I found out that he learned from Billy Donovan.
Mm,
He's been with OKC as a whole as an organization since 2014.
wow.
He's also helped with the U.S. basketball, and he graduated from UConn and learned some from the coach there.
Huh.
So, and I mean, this is for me that which was a big factor. They went 57 and 25, and their team is so young. They
So
had
young.
an absolute great season, and I think this is perfect. I think he definitely deserved Coach of the Year, 100%.
I agree full-heartedly with you. I mean, the man is just an absolute genius combining all of these players, and they're so young. So if you're maximizing their potential, their play styles together, Chet, SGA, Josh Giddey, Williams, the two Williams. I mean, they've got some pretty good players that are still growing and developing, and having the season they did at this young age, and they're still in the playoffs. They're tied with the Mavs currently 2-2, so they could possibly make the conference finals, and that would be an extremely just. Honestly, I did not even have them making the first round of the playoffs this year. I thought they would, before the season started. I didn't know where they would go, but they're, definitely surpassing my expectations that I had for them to start the year.
I was not expecting him to be like a number one seed. I expected him to be personally. I was thinking like a six seed, like somewhere
Yeah.
around there. But
Mhm.
hey, I was wrong. Like, they definitely proved me wrong this season.
Yeah. Coach of the year definitely deserving. But most improved player, Tyrese Maxey. What you think on that?
So I think that he had an incredible season. I think he deserved most improved player personally. He went from 20 points to 25 points this season. Like
Mm,
that was a good jump. 5 points is definitely going to help your team. His field goal percentage did go down, but I think it's because he was playing more minutes and he had more shot opportunities.
Yeah.
And he went from 2.9 rebounds to 3.7, and his assists almost doubled. He went through from 3.5 assists a game to 6.2. So he has improved in like every
Mm,
stat category. But like I said, his field goal went down, but I think it's because he's getting more shot opportunities to be able to help his team. So I mean, that's not surprising to me. So I'm
yeah.
perfectly fine with this pick. I think Maxi definitely showed up. He looked good this season. He looked good in the playoffs. I think
Yeah.
so. That's my take on it. I'm perfectly fine with Maxi getting this.
I agree 100%. Maxey stepped up big time in the playoffs. I believe he dropped 43 or it was either 43 or 44 in round one when Joel Embiid was just he had the cerebral palsy with his face, and then he had the knee injury. So he had to step up big time, and he delivered for 76ers. Even though they didn't win the series, he's somebody you can definitely build upon in the future and rely on. So Maxi winning this award, I saw it coming, and I agree with it. I don't have any sort of difference with it. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. MLB standings and talk. So, what's your thoughts on baseball so far this season, Stache?
So right now, I mean, looking at the American League and the National League, I mean, the Oilers are in first in the American League, Phillies in first in the National League, and both of them. So the Oilers are on a 7-3 over the last 10 games, and the Phillies are 8-2. Like over the last 2 games, they're playing incredible. The
Mm-hmm.
Yankees are playing good. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't gonna be happy about that. I know a lot of people hate the Yankees. So I mean, they're 27-5 right now. They're 7-3 over the last, and they've had 202 runs this season so far.
Mm,
The one that really shocked me a lot though is the Dodgers are 27-15. They're 8-2 over their last 10, and they have 220 runs.
wow.
They are they're getting the runs. They're making it what they want it. Um, they are 27-15, so they're still in contention and stuff. But the Oilers, Yanks, Guardians, Twins, and Royals are the top five in the American League right now.
Mm,
And it's real close between all of them. Only a few games
yeah,
separate everybody. I know this is a long season, so we could be looking at completely different standings in 2 months from now. But
exactly.
the Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, Brewers, and Cubs are all playing excellent too. I know a lot of people, especially in this area, are big Braves fans. So I know like they're 24-3, they're 5-5, so they're about 500 over the last 10, and we got 183 runs, which is kind of low compared to everybody else, but they're still winning.
Exactly. Yeah, they're still winning ball games.
The one that kind of shocked me this year though is probably the Cubs. They're 24-17 with 5-5 and 195 runs, but I think that, and then of course I'm not gonna. I got to talk about my Rays for a moment. My Rays are not doing super hot. I mean, we're right around 500 right now, 20 and 21. We're 6-4 over the last four. I'm just hoping we can keep it up. We got to make the playoffs at least the playoffs.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that. Like you mentioned, some of the top dogs currently. I'm gonna mention a couple of teams that are underperforming. So the Boston Red Sox, they're hovering right around 500, and that kind of surprised me because when you think about the Red Sox, they're one of the better teams in baseball in history over recent years. So I think they'll probably get going later in the season. And then the St. Louis Cardinals, they had the former MVP a couple of seasons ago. So I am very surprised they're doing this poor currently. I don't know what they need to do. They need to acquire another player to help them or what, but let me know down below, everybody. What position do the Cardinals need to address and acquire to help their team improve? Because right now, it's not looking great at all. And the Baltimore Orioles at 26-14 currently in the American League, and then the Phillies at 29-13 in the National League, followed by the Braves and the Dodgers, looking like the top three or four teams in all of baseball right now. So I'm very excited to see what happens. And like you mentioned, a lot of people do not like the Yankees. Second in the American League currently. But I looked up a couple of weeks ago. Currently, the first place voting for MVP for the season was a Yankee. It was Juan Soto getting 38 first place votes. So I know it's quite a bit of time before the MVP gets announced, but the first MVP poll of the 24 season revealed a couple of weeks ago, everybody. So keep Soto out there on your radar for the Yankees.
I agree. Baseball. I think baseball is going to get more and more competitive as the season goes on for sure.
It will be. But moving on to the next topic. So, NHL playoffs. What's your thoughts on it, Stash?
So as of the making of this video, we got the Dallas Stars up 2-1 against the Avalanche. We got the Vancouver against the Oilers 2-1. Panthers up 3-1 against Boston Bruins, and the
Mm,
Rangers up 3-1 to the Wild. So I'm going to stick to my claim that 94 is repeating itself, and the Rangers are definitely going to the conference finals,
mm.
just like the Knicks will. Just thrown out there.
New York fans gonna be liking that.
Yeah, New York's got a good is going to have a good year. The Yankees are in second place. The Rangers are about to make the conference championship, and then you've got
Mm,
the Knicks trying to do the same. It's a if you're a New York fan, it's a good year.
it really is. Like you mentioned, I mean, Dallas leading right now. Dallas Stars leading the Avalanche 3-1. Looks like they're going to advance to the conference finals. And then you got Vancouver and the Oilers. Vancouver leading 2-1. Panthers leading the Boston Bruins. That kind of surprised me. They're up 3-1. Florida Panthers are. I mean, the Bruins. A lot of people had them making it in that round, but like you mentioned, the Rangers over the Hurricanes 3-2. They'll probably advance to the next round. But one thing that stood out to me really was all the one seeds are still left in the playoffs for the NHL. So all the top teams are playing like the top dogs, and I don't know. I don't see many upsets going here forward. So we'll have to wait and see what the conference finals holds. But everybody, let us know down below. Who do you predict to make the Stanley Cup finals? For me personally, right now, I'm predicting the Dallas Stars to take on the Florida Panthers. That's my prediction.
Really?
Yeah.
So we got one in the similar here. I've got
Yeah.
Dallas Stars advancing to the Stanley Cup
Mm,
against the Rangers.
okay. Battle of the ones. We'll have to wait and see. But hockey fanatics, let us know down below. What's your thoughts so far on this playoffs? But go ahead and move on. Moving on to the next topic at hand, a little bit of football talk. So, upcoming NFL training camp and rookies that are currently in minicamp right now. What's your thoughts on it, Stash?
The first thing I want to address is the fact that they're starting rookie camps and training camp is about to begin. I personally makes It personally makes me very excited because that means football is getting closer and closer, and I'm
Yeah.
super happy about that. I got to see Graham Barton and a couple other guys in training camp, and I've seen some film of some of the rookies already. So like Michael
Mhm.
Penix did not look fantastic in his rookie camp, but he's not going to be starting. So oh well.
Exactly.
Um, Caleb Williams looks okay. I know JJ McCarthy. He was betting the defense sprints. If he would not throw less than 3 incompletions.
Hmm. Oh,
So
wow.
he ended up running sprints, but that's okay. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fine for the rookie. He's gonna.
Exactly.
I like the character, and I like that he honors his bet with it. So I'm excited to see him this season. Jaden Daniels, I'll be excited to see. Even though I think
Mm.
I'm really hoping. I don't think I'm really hoping that this is not a repeat of the RG3. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want that to happen again. I want to see like a RG3 kind of style of player to finish a career
Exactly.
because Sam Harton is a backup. So
He is.
he's like 35. Not really.
He's been in college forever, but yeah, some of those names you mentioned, I'm really looking forward to for the upcoming season and training camp and rookie mini camp. Currently, got some high expectations for these rookies. I mean, Jaden Daniels going to be starting right away. Drake May is going to be starting right away. Of course,
Ooh,
Caleb Williams.
Drake
Uh,
May starting right away.
oh yeah,
You
I
think
feel.
you think he
I
starts
mean, he
week
might.
one?
Week one, I feel like probably will. I mean, they've got Jacoby Brissett, so he might start the first few weeks, but Drake May's got all the intangibles
Okay.
and the potential to
See,
start week one. I would clean up his technical like footwork. He's got some issues there, but I mean that doesn't take too long to fix with a good quarterback coach. So right away, I feel like if he's ready with the playbook, that's the big thing. Is like these college players going to the NFL, the playbooks are a lot more dense and complicated, so they've got to fully understand every play in and out of the playbook. So that might take him a little while to comprehend, but um, I think it'll be sooner than later for Drake May.
so um, I would agree that I do think he starts at some point during the season.
Mhm.
I don't think he starts right away.
Yeah,
And my take on it is I think that the Patriots are too used to being good, and I think it's going to pressure them into starting May sooner than they should. I personally, if you could, I would love for Drake May to sit this year and learn. I
he
think he
should.
right,
Yeah.
like I think that's the best play. But I am in agreement. I do think that that will be an issue. Like, hey, Jacoby Brissett's not getting it done. Do we
Mhm.
put May in? And I think they will, and I think it'll be a little rushed. I think he's going to have some moments this season, but I don't think they should rush him, even though I do think they will.
Mhm. I agree with you. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of expectations for these rookies right away. And one rookie I'm really interested to seeing is a couple of Jets rookies right off rip. We've got Braylon Allen in the backfield with Brees Hall.
That's going to be nasty.
I mean, that's going to be, I'm going to love that. And then especially you get the wide receiver from Western Kentucky, Malachi Corley. So I think he'll be a good little slot receiver for them as well. So the Jets definitely have some big expectations with Aaron Rodgers coming back. So we'll have to wait and see what they can do.
Another rookie that I'm actually like excited to see is Peyton Wilson
Mm.
in the
For the
Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
I think he is going to fit in perfectly there. And their wide
Mhm.
receiver room, or not their wide receiver, their linebacker room is going to be excellent. I think their defense is just going to be. I think I think that the Steelers have a chance to have the best defense in football this year.
Yeah, getting Peyton Wilson was huge for them. I mean, a lot of people's been comparing him very early though to Luke Kuechly. So that's a big comparison. But I mean, he's sideline to sideline, high flyer, plays with a lot of passion, and he is one of this year's best linebackers. So the Steelers definitely have a legit defense for this upcoming season, like you mentioned.
No, they do. There's several rookies I'm excited to see. All the quarterbacks they're playing. I want to see if they live up to their hype. Of
Yeah.
course, uh, of course, I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. I want to
Oh
see
yeah.
how he plays because I've been so high on Marvin Harrison Jr. I said he was the best prospect coming out of college,
Mm.
out of everybody. So I want to see how well he plays with Murray. That's another one I'm excited for. There's a bunch of guys that I'm actually really
Mhm.
excited to see. Besides ones, of course, on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Steelers, I'm excited for. I also am excited to see how the defense for the Rams does with Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse on there now.
Mm.
I think that'll be a
Yeah.
little nasty duo to have. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. They're playing with each other again in the pros. Florida State Seminole duo going to the Rams. That's wild.
what do you think about another rookie that I'm actually pretty stoked for? He where he went kind of shocked me, but oh well. Slick Rick with the Niners.
See, that really intrigued me. He went higher than expected. Me and you both loved him, though. The prospect himself, he was a great high point wide receiver at Florida. Um, I think he's going to do good with the Niners. I think it was a good pick. If they lose Brandon Ayuk, if they ended up trading him, they still got Debo and Juwan Jennings, but I think he could have a sneaky good rookie campaign.
No, I think he could too. I think depending on what they want to do with Debo or Brandon Ayuk on that sense, I think
Mhm.
he's going to be a fantastic slot wide receiver. I
Yeah.
don't think he'll be a number one or a number two guy. I think the slot is more of his like skill position, but I think he's got a great vertical. I think he's got the speed too, and he's a jump ball slot guy. That's not something that happens often.
Mm-mm. And catching traffic too. That's something that really stood out to me in his highlights. I mean, he was just getting the ball, high pointing it, like you mentioned. And Ricky Pearsall definitely could have the capabilities to have an impressive season year one in San Francisco. And their creative play calling, I could see him getting involved just everywhere.
No, I agree. I think that's another one that kind of shocked me. Of course, I'm Another one I'm super stoked for is Josh Allen having Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
I like we've talked about. I think a jump ball wide receiver is so much more effective for Josh Allen and his play style
Yeah.
than like a good slot receiver as in Diggs. So I think Keon Coleman is going to be an excellent help for him.
One thing I might add, Josh Allen isn't the best at precision passing accuracy wise. He has had some interception problems, so getting a big body receiver that can high point the ball, jump ball, just extremely long arms, that's going to help Josh Allen in the catch radius. So I'm sure getting Keon Coleman, he was glad to get him.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they need all the help in the receiver room
Yeah.
um, as much as possible.
One last tidbit on rookie minicamp, real quick, looking forward to the season. So the Green Bay Packers got two of my favorite linebackers from the draft, Edgerrin Cooper and Tyron Hopper. So I think those were two just amazing picks for that defense, and they could be starters early on for that young Green Bay defense. So everybody better watch out for those two.
100%. Like I did in our predictions already, I think Green Bay's taking the division.
Mm.
I think it's just a bad time for like Detroit. I think all the other teams are going to start getting better and better, and their window's going to close. I got Detroit with like like two more years. I think 2 more years is their window, like a big window of having the opportunity to get it done, which is this season, next season. But it also depends on the other teams as well. And they all drafted. Like I mean, Lions traded up and got Terry Arnold, the best corner in the draft, way later than he went in any of the mocks. So I think that's definitely going to help them out with this, especially since they've like struggled with the DB situation for so long.
Oh yeah.
Last season, they could have, if their DBs weren't so bad, there's a good possibility they were in the Super Bowl. So,
Yep.
uh, and everything with Cam Sutton, they have to replace the depth there. Uh, and then I mean, of course, your Vikings and the Bears both got rookie QBs as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of like a lot. I think rookies are going to play a big factor this season in a lot of teams.
I agree with you on that. I mean, these rookies, I mean, honestly, this year's class was very impressive. I mean, a lot of talent across the board in multiple positions, and you don't see that quite a bit.
No, this draft class I think should be one of the best draft classes that we've had in a while.
Yeah. I mean, the tackle group was crazy. Wide receiver class is always pretty good across the board each year. Quarterback class, I mean, six quarterback going in the top 12, that's unheard of. Um, Edge group was pretty phenomenal.
There's a lot of
Corner group,
edges, a lot of good
oh
edges.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But moving on, everybody, talking about the Olympic USA basketball team roster for this upcoming summer in Paris. What do you think about it?
So I just want to talk about the roster. Let's talk about the roster because I think this is stacked. I think it's really stacked. You got KD, you got LeBron, you got Bam, you got Booker, you got Curry, Anthony Davis, Ant, Embiid, which shocked me still that he playing for the U.S. team. Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holloway, Kawhi Leonard, and Jason Tatum. I mean, that's stacked. Like, in all reality, it's just stacked. But who starts?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a really good question. I mean, you got to say Curry and LeBron locked. I would say Curry, LeBron,
Okay,
probably KD.
where are you putting? Who's you putting LeBron at forward, or are you putting him at point?
I would probably put him at forward. Yeah, I put him at the four. I'd put Curry at the point, Bron at the four, KD at the three. Then at the two, you could probably put. That's tough. You could probably put either D Book or Tatum. Tatum could play small. Um, that'd be a big lineup though.
Uh,
And then for the center, you'd have to go Embiid,
who's playing power forward?
Bron.
Oh, yeah, Braun power forward. Okay, I was thinking small forward with Braun. Okay, okay. My personal take. This is who I would like. My personal opinion. This is how I would run the offense. I would do Curry at one. I would do Ant at two.
Oh, yeah, Anthony Edwards up to two for sure, and a two.
So I
Yeah.
got Curry, Ant. I'd have LeBron at small forward. And then I would do Embiid at center and Davis at power.
Mm,
And
I
then
could get behind that.
because
Yeah.
then you got KD, Halliburton, Holiday, Kawhi, and Tatum come off the bench. Like
Yeah.
think about that roster just off the bench.
Man, that'd be ridiculous. I would probably go with KD over Anthony Davis at the four.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that way you can have Anthony Davis come off the bench because if you put both of them in at the starting five, you would kind of have a little bit depleted like back end of the
Yeah.
starting rotation for center and power forward.
I'm just saying against whoever you're playing as their starters, I'm just thinking Anthony Davis and Embiid in the
Well,
paint
yeah.
are just they're stopping
You
everybody.
could not, yeah, you could not stop that. And even the second unit, that's going to be legit. I mean, you've got Halliburton, Tatum, uh,
Holiday, Kawhi.
Holiday, yeah, Kawhi.
So
That's
yeah,
legit.
and then you have Bam. You don't forget you got Bam coming off
Damn,
the
damn,
bench.
Bam's solid. Yeah,
So you got Bam coming off the bench for center if you want.
yeah. Honestly, though, if we think about it, I think this has the potential to be the best USA Olympic basketball team since the Dream
Yep,
Team.
I'm in agreement with
It's
that.
92.
I'm happy because like a lot of these like big stars have like not been in the U.S. thing in a hot minute,
Yeah,
so I'm excited to see like them coming back and doing this.
yeah, I agree. The only thing I wish, the only player I wish that would have been on this team, I wish Kyrie Irving would have joined this team instead of maybe Halliburton or somebody, maybe Holiday. Imagine Irving on this team. That would just add to that would add even more to this
Well,
legendary team.
so for retrospect on this, we'll take Holiday out and put Irving.
Yeah.
So in my opinion on how I was starting and everything, I would have Irving, Halliburton, Kawhi, Tatum, and Bam coming off the bench.
Woo! Yeah. Wait. That would be that'd be insane. Man, I really wished Irving would have decided to play, but he said he was tired of just people selecting the players, and he wanted the tryouts like back in '08 to happen
Yeah,
again.
they need tryouts. They
Um,
don't need just selections. Do
in 12.
tryouts.
Yeah, he wanted the tryout aspect to be back in play instead of just just getting selected. So um, I'm not sure when they started picking him instead of doing tryouts, but I'm sure he that's one of the reasons why he didn't want to join.
Probably when they started doing team captains for the All Star game.
Probably like 2016 or so. But yeah, that's our thoughts on the USA Olympic basketball team. Everybody, let us know down below what your starting five would be, and do you think this is the best team assembled since the Dream Team of '92? But we'll go ahead and move on to rumors surrounding the San Antonio Spurs. They're opting out of trading, or excuse me, they're trying to trade out of the top 10, possibly to acquire a guard, maybe Trey Young.
I am not a Trey Young fan. I will state that now.
Hmm.
I've never been a Trey Young fan. In my opinion, the Hawks lost on that trade. They should have kept Luca. You should have.
Yeah,
I don't think that Trey Young is bad, but I just don't give in to like everyone else thinks. I don't see him the same way everyone else does, and I'm a big point guard fan. Maybe that's why I'm so critical of him. But I do think that him
yeah.
on the Spurs would play a huge factor for Wimby. Could you imagine how many alley oops they do? Like
Oh my God.
Wimby's just dunking on you constantly. I do think he's a good shooter. I think that he could get a lot of plays open, and I think that's what they kind of need to do. I think Trey Young to the Spurs is a good idea if you can do that. I don't think
Oh
this
yeah.
draft class is that good. I think it's
Mm,
very mediocre of a draft class. So if you could go get Trey Young instead of drafting, I think that's 100% the best option to do.
yeah.
I don't think anybody coming in this draft class is going to be better than Trey Young.
No, I agree full heartedly.
So Trey Young to the Spurs is the most excellent. You may have to give up 4 and 8 to get Trey Young, and that's fine. Do it if you
Yeah.
have to. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because you're going to be getting a player who will help your team build so much more and give Atlanta those 4 picks or those 4 and 8. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I think. I think that's the best option for them. Is they need to acquire somebody with experience to help Wimby. You need the experience. You don't need
Mm,
another rookie. You need the
yeah.
experience. I think that's like I said with the Magic this season. I think if they had a veteran presence more on there, I think they could have gone further. But they didn't,
Yeah.
and that the lack of experience hurt them. So getting someone with some experience who's been in the league for a second is the best option for the San Antonio Spurs right now.
100%. I mean, you hit it on the head with that one. They've got to get a veteran in there to help Wembanyama continue to develop and grow into the player he can become. And if they could keep one of their top 10 picks with, trading for Trey Young, that would be pretty crucial as well. Imagine they get Dalton Connect with Trey Young and Wembanyama. I mean, Coach Pop would love that. That big three would be not, that'd be insane,
You'd
honestly. But
you'd have your new three in San Antonio. You'd have your Duncan. You'd have your Ginobili. You'd have your Tony Parker.
yeah, you really would. That would be people in San Antonio would love that. But honestly, if Trae Young went to San Antonio, I feel like that would benefit him too. Not only Wemby, I feel like that would help his career continue to ascend because it's kind of hit a plateau if we're being real in Atlanta. So if he goes to San Antonio, being able to play with Victor Wembanyama, I feel like would help him and it would help Wemby as well.
No, yeah, we're in agreement on this. We both think that Trey
Mhm.
Young to the Spurs and trading one of your picks is probably the best option for this. If
Oh
the
yeah,
Spurs want to move up from where they were this season, they were not great. Wimby did
Mhm.
a lot, but he can't do everything.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic at hand, everybody. So, which rookie wide receiver will surprise people the most for this upcoming season in the NFL?
So surprise, I'm going to guess is not going to be a top wide receiver. Is what is
Yeah,
the premise on this. So we're looking at players who were not. What do you say? Top 10, top 15? Where are you
yeah,
looking at?
sure. Yeah,
Um, Me personally, I want to say Keon Coleman, but I think he's just going to be targeted so much that they're just going
true.
to start covering him a lot. So I can't say
Mhm.
him. Um, but I personally, I kind of want to say, I think, I want to say Slick Rick. I think he's going to have the best breakout
Yeah.
year. Even though he's not going to be a number one guy.
Mm. I could get behind that. I like that. Um, I mean, Pearsall definitely has all of the capabilities to be a great receiver early in his career. It's just how much they utilize him early, like you mentioned. Um, my selection is a Cincinnati Bengal, Jermaine Burton out of Alabama, wide receiver. So let me explain real quick. So T. Higgins is continually wanting to be traded away from the Bengals. You know, with amid the rumors with all the trade conflict and all that. We'll have to wait and see if they deal him or not. But let's just say they go ahead and ship him off somewhere. I mean, this man Burton will easily step into the wide receiver two position alongside with Jamar Chase. Even if he doesn't, even if Higgins stays this year, replacing Tyler Boyd's position because he went to the Titans. He signed with them in free agency. So I feel like Burton has the capabilities to be a great target for Joe Burrow. Very underrated wide receiver coming out of Alabama, and I like him a lot. I think this wide receiver could possibly break onto the scene early in his career.
No, I like that pick. I actually really like that pick because I've done some mock drafts and we got him too. So I done a little bit on it. I've done a little bit of research on it. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
I do like a lot. There's a lot of good wide receivers. I think. One of the ones I think will not have a great year and is based on his quarterback. And you can hate on me. You guys, anybody who's watching this can hate on me. I'm sorry, Brian Thomas Jr. is not going to have a good year because of his quarterback.
Yeah.
No, I just don't think so. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's a stud. I think that both wide receivers out of LSU were excellent choices. I just like I said with T. Law, I'm just not sold on him. I just haven't been.
Mm.
And then the rumors speculate now. I don't know if I sent this to you, but there's a lot of speculation that the Cowboys will not re-sign Dak and they will be going after Trevor Lawrence.
Wow. That'd be huge. That would shake up a lot of the NFL. The other kind of wide receiver in their rookie campaign I could see doing well would be Ladd McConkey to the Chargers. I mean, with Justin Herbert, I think he would be a great target for him early.
Who do you think? Which wide receiver do you think is going to not going to have a good year? Like as a rookie.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like top first round kind of deal.
First round wide receiver that's not going to do good.
I know it's hard.
Um, that is pretty tough.
I got mine.
I'm gonna say Malik Neighbors to the Giants.
Okay, yeah, that's who
Um,
I was gonna pick.
yeah, I think Neighbors is a good wide receiver. He might have a solid career, but year one with the Giants, they're not in a good situation. I mean, Daniel Jones is not a very good quarterback. Offensive line is not great either. Losing Saquon, I mean, you're not going to have much of an offense this year, in my opinion. So, I think Malik Neighbors is going to just a drought of an offense, if you will. So, there's not going to be much fireworks on that team this season.
So yeah, no, that's fair. I think I'm in agreement. I've been arguing for Danny Dimes for a couple seasons now. The O line's not great. The D line's good. I'll give them a lot of
Yeah,
credit there. They did lose some DBs as well,
yeah,
so that's not gonna you're like, oh well, the defense is gonna get tired. You got to put up points. I think they're gonna be
yeah.
going to neighbors a lot this season,
I
but
agree.
you keep covering them. Nobody's gonna be open. The O line gets broken apart, gets sacked. Danny Dimes spends most of the time on his back. It's not gonna look good. So
Mhm.
this is Danny. I really am like, okay, they got you a quote unquote as he's not a proven rookie yet, a weapon. So I want to state that this is your year, Danny. If you get nothing
Mhm.
done, if you have a crappy year, you're gone. It's
Yeah.
just that's just how it's gonna be.
And I've heard rumors that Drew Lock might be possibly taking his spot if he performs well enough in camp. So I mean, he may lose his job before the season's even over with.
I don't think. I don't. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Who's better, Danny Dimes or Drew Lock?
Man.
I'd say Danny Dimes if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, but we'll have to wait and see what he can do this year. But
They're gonna have a rough year, I think.
yeah, and Daniel Jones, he's had his moments, but he's just been too inconsistent. Um, what about the next topic? What do you think about this? What is one thing you wish the NFL would add rule wise,
Rule
or just
wise,
anything in general?
they should allow taunting.
Yeah.
They should allow showboating. Super heavy. Like they're grown men. Let them
Mhm.
taunt.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's such a big deal. Like they tried to a couple years. I don't remember exactly what year, but they at one point they were trying to make it so NFL players couldn't cuss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they're grown men hitting
Hmm.
each other. Let them taunt. Let them showboat. Let them get it across that like, oh, I'm better than you, because
Yeah.
it's going to make for more intense. It's going to make it more like more what the fans want. Because listen,
Hmm.
I'm not going to watch two-hand touch or flag football if it came down to it.
No.
I want
Mm-mm.
y'all to lay each other out. So either take away the pads and let them hit each other, or
Mhm.
stop with the rule. I know I get you want safety, and I 100% understand that, and I do too. But changing the rules of the game to allow the defense not to do anything is going to hurt the league. You
It really will.
look at the NBA; they're trying to make rules where like that helps the defense now. So, but
Yeah.
again, when bringing it back to the main topic, taunting should be allowed.
Hmm.
Showboating should be allowed. More than 15 seconds if you want. Make 20 max, because don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, I want you to get back to the game, especially if you're scoring on my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and they did a visual drone that like on the field of a UFL game recently. I seen the highlight for it. I'll have to show it to you later because I don't
Hmm.
have the footage. But it was awesome. Like a drone followed the player, and like you saw him like from his front of him just score right up close. It was cool, and I think that was such an awesome thing that the NFL needs to take. They already took the kickoff, so why not take that too?
Yeah, I like that actually. I mean, get the players more of a celebrating after a touchdown or a big play. You could just taunt a little bit.
It's
I mean,
gonna it's gonna
yeah.
motivate you as a defense. I think if you see them taunt and them showboat, it's gonna motivate you to play harder, play better.
Hmm.
I know some people don't think that. That's how I view this personally, in my opinion. But yeah, no, if you score on me, and then the next time I see you on the field, I'm gonna be trying so much harder to get to
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna rock you, kind of deal. Like I'm gonna try my best to get to you. So I don't think late hits. No, that's not a thing. That's not what I'm arguing for. I'm just saying, like Tyreek giving him the peace sign when he scores a touchdown.
Mm.
I don't have an issue with that. He could give him the finger for all I care,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't
Hmm.
care. I wouldn't have an issue with it. Give him the finger. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter. They're grown men playing. Like we're as adults, we're the ones paying for everything. So yeah, I want more of that. I don't, and sometimes like I should be able to watch a game after it ends, mic'd up, no censor. Personally,
Hmm. I mean, those rivalries a little bit more so, but
mm-hmm.
um, what I think they should add is an extra bye week for players. And you could even argue adding another game if you throw in an extra bye week.
Oh, are you talking
Um,
about like the 18-week season?
mm,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with that. If they want to
yeah,
do a second bye week, I'm cool with that. They want to do another game, cool with that. Either way, I don't think that I don't think it's that big of a deal. I know a lot of players argued about it. I'm like, you have to play one extra game,
yeah,
and
so,
my
yeah,
issue is you should not complain based on how much money and revenue you are getting each season. Now there
exactly.
are a lot of guys who are getting paid very little,
Hmm.
and I understand that more on their aspect. But if you are one of the highest paid in your positions in the league, you have no right to complain. I'm sorry. If you
Yeah,
make $30 million a year for my entertainment, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're going to play an extra game. But I'm like, if you want to keep them healthier and you want to do the bye week, cool. I'm having no issue with that.
yeah, I'm fine with that as well. Like, I mean, like I mentioned, having the extra bye week that could help them recover faster from injuries, possibly. And then if you did want to add an extra game, I'd be fine with that as well. But ultimately, there's one downside to that. There's going to be a lot of people not liking it because of previous records being held. You already added an extra game for the 17-week season, So if they add another regular season game, they'll
Put an
be
asterisk by
contemplating
it.
be like, what?
Put an asterisk by it.
Yeah, that's true.
After the like advance of 18 leagues, because I mean we say this right, like oh well they're going to break records. We added an extra game. No one's broke the touchdown record. No one's broke the passing record, the receiving record. Nobody's breaking these. So I don't. It could definitely help with an extra game
Yeah,
change that, but it still hasn't even been done now, and they gave him an
true.
extra game.
That is true. I feel like adding 2 games compared to what it was 16. If you had an 18-week season compared to 16, it would eventually get broken though.
No,
Probably.
it would probably get broken, but like with that same stat, like Marino's passing yard was like 14 games.
Yeah. And it was in a run first type of league too.
Yeah, he threw the ball a
So
lot. It
yeah,
was a
he
run
did.
first, but man, he threw bombs.
Oh goodness. But it'll be interesting for sure to see if the NFL decides to add an extra bye week, and with that being said, add an extra regular season game on top of that.
Yeah, no, either way, I have no issue with it. It means I get
Mhm.
an extra. Like you could do with the extra bye week, and people get different bye weeks, so you get two spread out
Yeah.
throughout. I'm cool with that. If they play 17 games, oh well.
Mhm.
I have no issue either way. I just personally think that like Tyreek complained about it before, and I'm like, it aggravates me because I'm like, pay, I'll work an extra week each year if you pay me that much.
Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't be complaining like they do,
No,
but
you have a right to complain about your job. I have no issue with that, but like,
just like yeah.
but when it comes to who your selling point, because we're the reason they make money. As
Mhm.
you and I, who are very big fans of the NFL and the sport, we're what brings in the money. We are the ones that spend money for this. That's how they make their money.
Mhm.
If we quit watching tomorrow, then the league's over and they make no money.
Exactly. Viewership is crucial for any sort of league to continue their
Look,
success.
look at in the NBA, like we talked about with Jamal Murray throwing the heat pack and stuff on the court.
Mhm.
Me personally, I'm a Murray guy. I think Jokic is great too. I like the Nuggets, but I do think he should have been suspended. Him not getting suspended was because of ratings. That's why, and I
Oh,
get
yeah,
that
for sure.
because if you take Murray out of that game, they lose. They're down 3-0. It's
Yeah,
not good for viewership. So that's why he did it. Was it technically right to do that? No, but it's a business. He's taken that step forward first, and he's like, nah. He's like, that means they're up 3-0. The series is over. That means less games for viewership.
exactly. Yeah, that's the truth. But let us know down below, everybody. What one thing would you add to the NFL? If you could add anything, let us know down below. But moving on to the last topic of the day, who would make the transition easier? NFL to NBA, NBA to NFL, player wise.
Ooh, a little Austin Rivers, a little Shannon Sharp and Shaq here.
Oh yeah,
I think it takes more skill to be in the NBA than the
yeah,
NFL. I
yeah.
think being able to shoot the basket, shooting a basketball is far harder at a professional level than people think. Like you
Hmm.
have some of the greatest players in the world guarding you, and you're having to play against. It's not easy. Now, I don't think they're as tough as NBA players or NFL players by any
Yeah.
means. They play
No.
in the NBA. Basketball is a contact sport. It is. You can say what you want. It is. It is not a
Yeah, it
collision
is.
sport though, like the NFL
No.
and other sports in the same. So, I think a lot of NBA players, if they went and played football, would get hurt. Personally,
Yeah. Load
especially
management.
load. Yeah, yeah. You got no load management now.
Mhm.
You only get every game matters. So, in my personal opinion, I think that it would. It's really hard. It's really hard to say. I do. I think it'd be easier for NBA players to do it though than NFL players, and the reason
Yeah.
is because not every NFL player can shoot a basketball. You
Mhm.
can't pass at that level. I can't. There's not enough guys. You just can't. Either way, I just don't think either one of them would work because
Yeah.
Allen Iverson played quarterback and like running back and stuff in high school, and a lot of other players like LeBron did too. But
Mhm.
if LeBron went out there and he got his knees taken out from him, I don't know if that would be very well. That would end up,
Yeah.
or Wimby, for example, he's 7'6". Where are you going to put him? And also, you wouldn't have any linemen when it came to the NFL. You have no linemen in the NBA. I'm sorry. There's
Yeah.
nobody in there that's going to be put up with. Trying to think of bad defense off the top of my head. Carolina Panthers D line. No one's holding up against them. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
Now you might have like a
No.
super tall wide receiver that you could just throw the ball up to, and when he gets his legs taken out, he's not doing that again.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's probably pretty close, but you gotta mention like this skill gap between NBA players and NFL. Like basketball is an extremely hard sport to play, and I don't feel like football players can make the transition easily. I do feel like NBA players can make the transition to football, although you mentioned a great point. Contact versus collision sport. I mean, you gotta be tough to play football, and I feel like NBA players there would be some that would definitely opt out because of the physical nature of the sport. But I feel like the transition would be a little bit easier for NBA players to make to football than vice versa. Um, but I don't know.
I got a hot take for you before we wrap this up. I think European players are tough. European basketball players are tougher than American or overseas
I,
players.
yeah, I could see that. Have you seen the crowds when Jokic played overseas in Serbia?
I think of like Luca. I think of Jokic. I think Embiid. Embiid does get hurt, but I think he's tough as nails. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a tough dude. A lot of these
Even though he does
guys,
complain, Luka flails his arms quite a bit,
he
but
does.
they are very tough.
I mean, Jokic tries to get every time he gets the ball and someone trying to wrap up on him, he tries to shoot the ball, so it's a shooting foul. And people are like, oh, he shouldn't do that. I'm like, no, he's smart. He's got a very high IQ. For the game and the fundamentals of basketball, he's gonna try and do that every time.
Yeah, I would agree with that, though. I think overseas players are probably tougher, but I do feel like American players are more athletic, though.
I would agree with that 100%. More athletic, but I think that the Europeans are tougher and maybe besides Embiid, I want to say more durable.
Yeah,
Besides Embiid,
and you can eat,
I can't say Embiid's durable.
and I would even argue that European players are more fundamental with practice.
100%. I think what makes NBA players overseas better is the same reason why Soto is so good at baseball. They learn the fundamentals far more than they do the game, like just trying to be good at one thing. They try to learn how to be good at everything.
Exactly, that's the truth. It makes a lot of sense. It really does when you dive into it like that. But um, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Um, I was gonna say the Nuggets might pull it off in six, like I said.
Yeah, they might. We'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be interesting. They play tonight, Game 5,
I'm excited.
and we'll see what the Pacers and Knicks do in Game 5 as well.
Yeah, I was wrong about the Knicks. I said the Knicks were gonna sweep, so I'm a little wrong on that one.
Oh well, we were both wrong. I said Knicks in 5.
That's true. But look at the West. I said what did I said six. I said games it would go to 7 for the Mavs and OKC, which we still might
Yeah,
get. And then I
yeah.
said 6 for the Denver and the Wolves, which Wolves went up 2-0. So I was kind of shocked after that. I was, whoa, wait a second. I might have been wrong on that. But
Well, everybody, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like always, leave a comment, leave a sub if you haven't already. Like it as well, and share the video. Check out TikTok, same handle, Thunder Sports Pod. Until next time, everybody.
we out.